ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Now, come to the topic. Next topic, we discussed about current and its applications, drift velocity, relation between current and drift velocity, current density, all this. Now we can discuss about, come to the topic, Ohm's law. Ohm's law. What is the Ohm's law? So generally, in thermal resistance condition, in case of heat transfer, in the case of conduction, what we consider, Q by T is equals to Ka delta T by L. So Q by T is equals to delta T by L by Ka. Q by T is equals to delta T by L by Ka. In the same way, V by T pi P R power 4 by 8 eta L, Poiseuille's equation. So V by T is equals to P divided by 8 eta L by pi R power 4. V by T is equals to P divided by 8 eta L divided by pi R power 4. This is rate of flow of heat. Rate of flow of heat is equals to temperature difference divided by, this is called thermal resistance. In the same way, rate of flow of fluid is equals to pressure difference divided by, this is called fluid resistance. So that means from this here we can write Q by T directly proportional to delta T and V by T directly proportional to pressure difference. So that means temperature difference exists, then only heat energy, flow of heat energy exists, rate of flow of heat exists. If the pressure difference exists, then only rate of flow of fluid exists. In the same way here, at particular conditions, in a given conductor and at particular surrounding conditions, the rate of flow of charge is directly proportional to potential difference across the ends of the conductor. Rate of flow of charge, that is nothing but current, is directly proportional to potential difference between the ends of the conductor. So that is the Ohm's law. This Ohm's law existing under particular conditions only, surrounding conditions. If the temperature changes, Ohm's law does not valid. If the temperature remains constant, then only we can use. If the temperature changes, huge temperature changes exist, this Ohm's law does not valid. And this Ohm's law is only the empirical relation. It does not having any significance, just like Newton's laws. F equals to ma, everywhere we can use. Newton's third law, for every action there is an equal and opposite, everywhere we can use. Newton's first law, we can use everything, everywhere we can use those three, those having certain significance. But Ohm's law is only the empirical relation. This is the only relation between current potential only. Apart from this chapter, this Ohm's law does not having any significance. So that is I can be written as V by R. I is equals to V by R. This is called Ohm's law. Under particular surrounding conditions, in a given conductor, the rate of flow of charge is directly proportional to potential difference exists across the conductor. So that is Ohm's law. So I is equals to V by R. where V is equals to IR, where R is the proportionality constant, then that is called as resistance. R is the proportionality constant and this is called resistance. R is called the resistance. V is equals to IR. V is equals to IR. So, this is the formula, Ohm's law, where R is called the proportionality constant and that is called resistance. So, from this resistance, what is meant by the resistance? That is important here. What is meant by the resistance? So, the opposition causes for the flow of charged particles in a conductor. The opposition offered for the flow of charged particles in a conductor is called resistance, electrical resistance. How this resistance causes, that means how this opposition causes for the flow of charged particles. Why this opposition causes? That is important here. So, in the previous case we discussed, in case of drift velocity we already discussed about that. What is drift velocity? In the existence of the external electric field, electrons are drifting from one position to another position. During this drifting, we discussed about one word, that is relaxation time. In a small time interval, the charged particles collides with another charged particles. So, due to that collision, motion must be restricted. The collision between the charged particles that causes the opposition for the motion of charged particles, that opposition is called resistance. That opposition is called resistance. So, resistance R is equals to V by I. R is equals to V by I. What is the unit? Volt per ampere. Potential unit is volts. Volt per ampere or simply ohm. The unit of resistance is volt per ampere or ohm. Volt per ampere or ohm. This is the unit of resistance. So, what is the dimensional formula? Dimension. How can you write the dimension formula of resistance? Of course, if you butterfly, no problem. We don't know how to write the, for example, we don't know, we can't remember that, we forget. If you forget this dimension formula of resistance, how can we write the dimensional formula? See here, volt per ampere. Volt means volt per ampere. Volt in the sense, how can you define potential? The amount of work done required to bring unit charge from infinity to certain position in the electric field. That is called electric potential. Amount of work done required to bring unit positive charge from infinity to certain position in the electric field. That is called potential. So, that means work done per unit charge. Work done per unit charge into ampere. Work done unit is joule, charge unit is coulomb, ampere, joule, work done, energy dimension formula, everybody know about this, ml square T power minus 2. The dimension formula of energy is ml square T power minus 2. This is coulomb. Coulomb means charge. We know I is equals to Q by T, but Q is equals to IT. Q means ampere second into ampere. So, that is ml square T power minus 2 ampere second ampere. ml square T power minus 2 divided by A square T. So, that is ml square T power 1 come to the numerator minus 1 T power minus 3 A power minus 2. According to the dimensional analysis, we can write the dimension number. If you don't know this, If you buttify this, if you remember this, no problem. Otherwise, how can you write this dimensional formula? So, general formula is volt per ampere. If you remember the unit ohm, not possible to write. If you remember the unit of resistance is ohm, you must remember this. Because by using the only this one, it is not possible to derive this. If you remember this unit, volt per ampere, if you know the formula, if you know the Ohm's law, then it is easy to remember this, volt per ampere. So that is volt per ampere. Volt is nothing but work done per unit charge. So work done by charge into ampere. Work done unit is joule, charge unit coulomb, ampere, joule dimensional formula, energy dimensional formula, ml square t power minus 2. Coulomb means ampere second, because Q is equals to IT, ampere second into ampere. So that is ml square t power minus 2 divided by A square into T. So that is ml square t power minus 3, A power minus 2. That is the dimensional formula of the resistance. And this is Ohm's law. How can you define this Ohm's law? In the given particular conditions and at a constant temperature, rate of flow of charge is directly proportional to potential difference across the conductor. Potential difference across the conductor. So now, here, so V is equals to IR. V is equals to IR. Then V by I is equals to R. V by I is equals to R. That means if we draw the graph between potential and current, if we draw the graph between potential and current, let us say this is the graph. Slope of VI graph gives resistance. Slope of VI graph gives resistance. Slope means y component by x component. From this R is equals to V by I. What is V here? Y component. What is I? X component. So y component by x component gives slope. Or let us say it is theta. We can write it as tan theta is equals to R. Tan theta is equals to R. Because slope y component by x component. It is y component by x component. That is, slope is VI graph gives resistance. Tan theta is equals to R. Here tan theta is equals to R. Now, in the same way, here if we draw the graph between I and V, if I is taken along y axis and V is taken along x axis, here the graph between I and V. So this is the, let us say this is the shape of the graph here. Now slope is equals to I by V, that is equals to 1 by R. Slope of the graph means y component by x component. Slope of the graph means y component by x component. What is y component here? I. X component is V. So that is slope is equals to I by V, that is equals to 1 by R. I by V, that is equals to 1 by R. So this is the slope of the graph. So the slope of the graph here again theta is given. Tan theta can be written as 1 by R. So this is, if it is a VI graph, then resistance is nothing but slope. If it is IV graph, resistance is nothing but slope is equals to 1 by R, that is. So based on this we can define two conditions. One is ohmic substances and non-ohmic substances. Ohmic substances and non-ohmic substances. So first of all, ohmic substances. Ohmic substances means, so the substances that obeys Ohm's law. The substances that obeys Ohm's law, those are called ohmic substances, or these are also considered as linear substances. Ohmic substances are linear substances. So the substances that obeys Ohm's law, the substances that obeys Ohm's law, those are called ohmic substances. So the shape of the graph is for ohmic substances is Vi. This is the shape of the graph. This is the shape of the graph. So generally, so for example, and these ohmic substances, this exist for low temperature, at low temperatures only. Why the low temperatures? In the sense, if the temperature increases heavily, huge rise in temperature, resistance also increases hugely in case of metals. So ohmic substances is nothing but generally they are considered as metals are the ohmic substances, because metals obeys Ohm's law. But in case of metals, if the temperature increases huge amount, resistance also increases huge amount. Resistance also increases huge amount at particular, after in that situations maybe current does not flows through the conductors. So that's why if the low currents only, this can exist. Low currents and low temperatures, at low temperatures. And one more thing is non-ohmic substances. Non-ohmic substances, or these are also called as non-linear substances. Ohmic substances, or these are called linear substances. And one more thing is non-ohmic substances or non-linear substances. Here the substances does not obeys Ohm's law. The substances does not obeys Ohm's law is called non-ohmic substances. So generally semiconductors, non-metals and semiconductors are called as non-ohmic substances. Generally the shape of the graph is, in case of semiconductors, like this, or in case of non-conductors it is like this, in different ways, curved shapes. In case of non-ohmic substances, the shape of the Vi graph is curved shape. So these type of graphs we can discuss about semiconductors. In semiconductors phenomena or semiconductors topic, we can discuss about this Vi characteristics of junction diodes, like that. So this is the ohmic and non-ohmic substances. Generally metals are considered as ohmic substances, and non-metals and semiconductors and gases or electrolytes are considered as non-ohmic substances. Next. Next, come to the condition resistance. Resistance. What is meant by resistance? Resistance is nothing but general formula R is equals to V by I. Ratio of potential to the current is called resistance, and its unit is ohm, and its dimension formula is ml square t power minus 3 a power minus 2. And before going to this, let us a small explanation about capacitance. So let us say we know Q is equals to CV, where C is equals to Q by V. The ratio of charge to the potential is called capacity. or capacitance. Now here the capacitance depends on charge and potential. Capacitance depends on charge and potential. Of course, magnitude, as per magnitude, capacitance depends on charge and potential, but capacitance does not depends on charge, does not depends on potential. Capacitance depends on the dimensions of the conductor. Capacitance depends on the dimension, just like water tank. What is the capacity of the water tank? Let us say 5 liters. It does not depends on the type of the liquid. Whatever is the liquid we can consider. So only 5 liters can be stored in the tank. That is the capacity. So that's why capacity does not depends on charge, does not depends on potential. How fast we can store whatever it is. What is the maximum possibility? Only 5 liters. So capacity depends on the dimensions, does not depends on the charge and potential. So remember that, it's very important thing. Capacity of any substance does not depends on charge, does not depends on potential. Of course, by using this we can calculate capacity. But if you know the value of charge, if you know the value of potential, we can calculate capacity. But capacity does not depends on charge, does not depends on potential. It depends on the dimensions of the conductor. In the same way, here resistance is equals to V by I. Resistance R is equals to V by I. What is V? Potential. What is I? Current. In the same way, if you know the value of potential and current, then we can know the value of resistance. We know the value of resistance, but resistance does not depends on potential, does not depends on current. Resistance of a substance is fixed. Resistance of a particular substance is fixed. It does not varies with the potential and it does not varies with the current. So resistance is the bulk property of the substance. Resistance is the bulk property of the substance. That is important here. Resistance is bulk property of the substance. Resistance is the bulk property of the substance. Resistance depends on dimensions of the substance. Resistance depends on dimensions of the substance and its nature of the substance. Resistance depends on dimensions of the substance and its nature. And next one, resistance depends on temperature. Resistance depends on temperature. If the temperature varies, resistance of the substances also varies. In different metals, in different substances, it varies differently. But if the temperature changes, resistance also must be changes. Resistance also must be changes. Next, simply we can write it as resistance does not depends on potential and current. Resistance does not depends on potential and current. Of course, R is equals to V by I. Of course, R is equals to V by I. R is equals to potential by current. Of course, it is the relation. But resistance does not depends on potential, does not depends on current. That is important. Resistance is the bulk property of the substance. And resistance depends on the dimensions of the substance and its nature of the substance. Different metals having different resistances. And resistance depends on temperature. If the temperature changes, resistance also changes. And resistance does not depends on potential and current. Here it is. Now, So resistance. So we discussed just now, we discussed resistance depends on what? Dimensions. How the resistance depends on dimensions? Here the resistance is directly proportional to length of an object or length of the substance. Resistance is directly proportional to length of the substance or directly proportional to L. For small values, we can write it as R1 by R2 is equals to L1 by L2. If length of the substance is more, resistance is also more. If length is less, resistance is less. So then for small values, we can write it as, for small values, delta R by R is equals to delta L by L. Delta R by R into 100 is equals to delta L by L into 100. Delta R by R into 100 is equals to delta L by L into 100. So this is the resistance. For small values, this is the resistance. And percentage change like this. So resistance directly proportional to length of an object. Resistance directly proportional to length of an object. Next condition is resistance inversely proportional to area of cross section. Resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross section. That means R is inversely proportional to A. So that means we can write R1 by R2 is equals to A2 by A1. R1 by R2 is equals to A2 by A. That means if area of cross section is more, resistance is less. If area of cross section is less, resistance is more. Inversely proportional to area. So for small values here, so delta R by R is equals to minus delta A by A. Or percentage change, delta R by R into 100 is equals to minus delta A by A into 100. So that is resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross section. So from this, R proportional to area can be written as pi R square. Area formula generally pi R square. So R proportional to 1 by R square. Capital R is the resistance, small r is the radius. Capital R is the resistance and small r is the radius. So here from this we can write R1 by R2 is equals to R2 by R1 whole square. R1 by R2 is equals to R2 by R1 whole square. So this is resistance is inversely proportional to square of the radius. So from this, for small values we can write it as, for small values, so delta R by R is equals to minus 2 into delta R by R. Delta R by R is equals to minus 2 into delta R by R. So from this, delta R by R into 100 is equals to minus 2 into delta R by R into 100. This is in terms of radius, this is in terms of area, and this is in terms of length. So this is the dependence of the resistance on the dimensions of the substance. So resistance depends on the dimensions of the substance. How it depends on dimensions? Resistance directly proportional to length and resistance inversely proportional to area of cross section, R proportional to 1 by A. Area can be written as pi R square. So like this. Next. Next, so we know from this R is directly proportional to length and R is inversely proportional. So resistance is directly proportional to length, resistance is inversely proportional to area, resistance proportional to L by A, then R is equals to rho L by A, where rho is called resistivity or specific resistance. Rho is called resistivity or specific resistance. And here the specific resistance is the specific property of the substance. Specific property of the substance. Of course, resistance is the bulk property, but specific resistance is the specific property of the substance. Now, so from this, rho can be written as RA by L. RA by L. So what is the unit? Unit of specific resistance. Our resistance unit is ohm, area unit is meter square, length unit is meter. So that is ohm meter. The unit of specific resistance is ohm meter or ohm centimeter, whatever. So resistance unit is ohm, whether it is SI unit or CG, whatever it is, resistance unit is ohm. But here unit of specific resistance is either ohm meter or ohm centimeter, whatever it is. So how can you write the dimensional formula? Ohm resistance dimension formula, just now we wrote ml square T power minus 3 A power minus 2 into meter L. So that is ml cube T power minus 3 A power minus 2. ml cube T power minus 3 A power minus 2. This is the dimensional formula of the specific resistance or resistivity or specific resistance. So now here, so resistance depends on what factors we discussed already, and specific resistance depends on how the specific resistance depends. So now R is equals to rho L by A. Now the space for next. Resistivity is the specific property of the substance. Specific property of the substances. For conductors, resistivity is low. For conductors, the resistivity is low. For an ideal conductor, so resistivity is 0. But this condition does not, ideal condition does not exist. But for an ideal conductor, if an ideal conductor exists, for that conductor the resistivity is 0. And resistivity of insulators, resistivity of perfect insulator is infinity. Resistivity of the perfect insulator is infinity. And one more thing, resistivity varies with temperature. Resistivity varies with that means if the temperature increases, resistivity changes. In different substances it changes differently. So that's why resistivity varies with temperature. Next, resistivity or specific resistance depends on impurities. So specific resistance or resistivity depends on impurities. That means impurities in the sense the alloys, two or more metals combined to form a one metal, that is called alloys. So that means resistivity of the individual materials is less than resistivity of the alloys. That means if the number of materials are mixed together to form an alloy, the resistivity of the alloy is more than individual materials. For example, iron, nickel, cobalt, let us say these three. If these are combined to form a single one, the resistivity of the alloy is more than resistivity of individual metals. So that's why it depends on impurities. So generally, fuse wire, we know fuse wire is made up of tin lead alloy. Fuse wire made up of with tin lead alloy because it has low melting point and low resistivity. Low melting point and low resistivity. What is the use of the fuse wire? If the more amount of current passes, high currents passes, generally that fuse wire melts, then current stops. That is the use of the fuse wire. So that fuse wire is made up of it tin lead alloy and it's having the low melting point and low resistivity. So the resistivity depends on this factor. Resistivity is the specific property of the substance. And next, for conductors resistivity is low. And for an ideal conductor the resistivity is 0. And for insulators, if it is a perfect insulator, resistivity is infinity. And resistivity varies with the temperature. How it varies with the temperature? Later we can discuss about variation of resistance with the temperature and resistivity with the temperature. In what type of materials, how it varies with the temperature. Because we have three different conductors, insulators, semiconductors, three different types. In these three conditions, how the resistivity changes with the temperature, how the resistance varies with the temperature, later we can discuss. Next, resistivity depends on impurities. Impurities in the sense addition of different materials to form a alloy. So that means the resistivity of the alloy is more than resistivity of the alloy is more than resistivity of individual materials. Resistivity of the alloy is more than resistivity of the individual materials. So this is the point, some points regarding this resistivity or specific resistance. Resistivity or specific. So conductance is defined as reciprocal of resistance. Conductance is defined as reciprocal of resistance, where sigma equals to 1 by R. Sigma equals to 1 by reciprocal of resistance. Resistance formula rho L by A. So sigma equals to A by rho L. So the unit is, resistance unit is ohm, OHM. Reverse, MHO, mho is the resistance of conductance and its dimensional formula is m power minus 1 L power minus 2 T cube A square. So this is conductance, reciprocal of resistance. In the same way, conductivity conductivity. So conductivity is defined as reciprocal of resistivity. Reciprocal of resistivity is called conductivity. So generally G, it is denoted as 1 by rho. G is equals to 1 by rho. So its unit is generally it as mho meter. Mho meter. So now it is okay, its dimensional formula. So 1 by resistivity m L cube t power minus 3 a power minus 2, that is equals to m power minus 1 L power minus 3 t cube a square. L power is a mho meter, mho per meter, mho meter. Okay, m power minus 1 L power minus 3 t cube a square. So now it is conductivity. Next, one more term, it is called mobility. What is meant by mobility? So mobility means the amount of drift velocity per unit electric field. Amount of drift velocity produced per unit electric field is called mobility. Amount of drift velocity per unit electric field. So with the help of the electric field only the drift exists. So the amount of drift velocity exists per unit electric field, that is called mobility. That is mu is equals to V by E. V by E. So we don't know the actually what is the unit? We don't know the unit. That's why velocity unit is meter per second divided by Newton per coulomb. So meter coulomb second inverse Newton inverse. So coulomb come to the numerator. Meter coulomb second inverse Newton inverse. That is the unit of mobility. Mobility is nothing but amount of drift velocity produced per unit electric field. So meter coulomb second inverse Newton inverse. So our meter coulomb divided by Newton second. Meter coulomb divided by Newton second. So its dimensional formula. Meter dimension formula L. Coulomb is charge. Q is equals to I into T. So that is ampere second. Coulomb dimension formula is 80. Newton force mLT power minus 2 second T. T gets cancelled. L gets cancelled. M power minus 1 T square A. M power minus 1 T square A. This is the dimension formula of mobility. So the amount of drift velocity produced per unit electric field is called mobility. So then it is velocity formula meter per second unit. Newton per coulomb is the intensity of electric field. Based on that, meter coulomb second inverse Newton inverse. If you write the dimension formula for this, meter dimension formula L, coulomb dimension formula ampere time. So Newton mLT power minus 2 second T. So on solving this, m power minus 1 T square A. This is the dimension formula of the mobility, and this is conductance, conductivity and mobility.